Welcome, everyone. We are excited to present this first installment of what we hope will be a series, Inside RJ, a new kind of opportunity for our school leadership to connect with the Regis Jesuit community on topics important to all of us. I'm Karen Wuertz, the boys' division head, and I'm joined here today by our principal, Mr. Jimmy Tricco, and our president, Mr. David Card, from the class of 1987. And before I go any further, quick shout out to my partner, girls' division head, Mr. Adam Lomas, from the class of 2010, who is off campus on the first Girls Kairos retreat of the year right now. Hope things are going great down there. So before we go any further, Jimmy and David, would you kick us off by sharing one grace from the start of the school year so far? What has inspired or moved you already in these first 6 weeks?
Great question. There's so many graces to start a school year. I think for me, it's the way our students care for one another.
Thank you.
Very good. Yeah, it is impossible to list just one. I think being here every day creates a new one. Just the activity on campus. And last week, our students celebrating Spirit Week with so much fun, and then to welcome our alums from generations back to campus with their families for reunion. These are some of the graces on my mind today.
Awesome. Thank you both for that. And a quick shout out also, we are supported by our students in the RJ Media Lab today. So thank you all for your help recording and editing this segment, and we couldn't do this without you. And special shout out to Mr. Dawkins as well. Thank you. All right, so the purpose of Inside RJ is threefold: to celebrate the start of the new school year, to promote communication and community, and to be in partnership with you, the parents and guardians of our students. We're going to hear from Jimmy and David about the state of our school, some fun facts about our student body, as well as our faculty and staff, and then we'll focus on the specific questions that were submitted in advance by our listeners. So let's jump into a little bit about Regis Jesuit today. David?
So we are 1,660 students this year. We're really delighted to welcome 450 freshmen to join our student body this year, and perhaps the most talented class we've ever enrolled. Like other years, our students are coming from all over in the metropolitan area, 83 different zip codes, 100 different middle schools, and really just an outstanding group of students on campus this year.
That's awesome. How does that student body size compare to other Catholic schools in Colorado and other private schools?
Excellent question. So we continue to be the largest private school in the state of Colorado, as well as the largest Catholic school, Catholic high school, all of the above.
Amazing. 1,660. Jimmy, where do we put all those kids once they get to campus? What does it look like in the classroom?
I get that question a lot. Right now, our average class size is 21 students. We do have 4 classes overall that are at 30 students, one of those being our servant leadership class. We have a number of students who want to give back to the community, help plan our activities and events, and that's why servant leadership is typically around 30. But our average class size overall is 21.
Would you talk a little bit about, as our listeners will know, we have a unique model with primarily single-sex experience in the classroom. Can you talk a little bit about the co-ed opportunities on campus as well for our students?
Absolutely. You know, we hear each year from alums, one of their favorite parts of being at Regis Jesuit for boys and girls is knowing that when you're in an all-girls class, the smartest person in the room is a girl. The funniest person in the class is a girl. The best athlete in the class is a girl. And the same for boys, and they're all boys classes. They get a lot of pride and confidence from being in a single gender environment. And we see here as we get older, especially in our electives classes, we have a lot of co-enrolled opportunities so that boys and girls can be together. And we've heard from our students over the years that they wish by senior year, as they get ready for college, that they have more opportunities to be in a class with the opposite gender. So we've made that opportunity available to them this year.
That's amazing. Can you speak a little bit, Jimmy, about our AP classes? I think we have 31 or 32 AP classes and our dual enrollment opportunities as well.
Yes, we have 32 advanced placement classes, and that means that if students perform well in the AP exam at the end of the year, they can receive college credit based on the school where they apply and the level of grade from the test that the colleges will accept. Our dual enrollment is somewhat new. Only the past couple of years we've partnered with St. Louis University, and they've included us in what's called the 1818 credit program. Our students are able to take a class that also counts as a St. Louis University class, and they can get college credit for it. Our teachers have to have a master's in that specific background in that academic area, and then our students are able to take the class, and the grade they get in the class will allow them to get college credit, which will follow them from Regis Jesuit.
That's great. So speaking of art teachers, can you speak a little bit about the academic qualifications of our teachers? How many teaching faculty do we have right now, and what is the breakdown of teachers with advanced degrees? Do you know?
We have 124 teaching faculty members right now, and we have 85% with a higher degree, master's or above. And we're really grateful for the talent that our teachers bring to our students each day. Our academic rigor is in part our greatest resource, our teachers.
That's amazing. So we've heard a little bit about the 1,660 kids and teachers that are on campus right now. How about those students that just left us? Can you speak a little bit about the outcomes from the class of 2025?
I'm extremely proud of all of our classes. 2025 knocked it out of the park. 99% of our students were accepted to over 360 schools, and then 98% of them have matriculated to 153 schools for their college journey or university journey next year, just starting this fall. And I think over 93% of our seniors receive some sort of merit-based scholarship. We're proud of their efforts, the way they commit themselves to their academics, and we're excited to see what God has in store for them as they continue in their education.
That's amazing. I'd love for you to speak a little bit about things you're excited about for this year coming up that we're in process with. One big policy shift this year, as everybody is aware of, is our cell phone ban. Would you talk a little bit about that before we go into some other things?
Yeah, I shouldn't have been as skeptical of our students as I was. I thought we were going to be collecting phones left and right, and our students overall have done a tremendous job of keeping their phones away, bell to bell. Each month I meet with a group of students just to get a finger on the pulse of the school. They call principal lunches. And one of the highlights for me is listening to students saying, you know what, this cell phone ban is great. I'm spending more time with my friends. I feel like I have more free time. I want to join more clubs. So overall, definitely from the faculty and staff and from a number of our students, they're enjoying our new cell phone policy.
I agree. And we were commenting just before we started this broadcast about the big groups of seniors out on the green who were playing hacky sack as we were walking into the SIC today. All those kids would have been on their phones, and they weren't. They were playing together, so I love to see that on a break.
I want to give a shout out to our group of students who do like a walking meeting during academic support around the quad, so they're not on their phones, but they're talking with their friends. I love that.
I love it. That's awesome.
Outstanding.
So, Jimmy, a little bit more about things you're excited about with student experience and mission for this year. We just finished Homecoming Week, Spirit Week. Would you talk about that a little bit? Things that are going on in our athletic programs, clubs, activities, etc.
Yeah, absolutely. I think I'm still recovering from Spirit Week and Homecoming. It was a great night. I think our students had a great time at the dance. The weather, after it rained a little bit, a lot of students spent their time outside enjoying one another's company. So Spirit Week, shout out to servant leadership, Mr. Timmy, Mr. West, for all their planning last week for Spirit Week. I think what I'm most excited about at this point are obviously our retreats and our immersions that are departing here soon. As you mentioned, our first Kairos of the year, our girls K85 is away, and our retreats are an excellent opportunity for our students to learn more about themselves, build relationships with others, and ultimately and most importantly, just get to know God. We say the same for our immersions. Our kids are going to be thrust into new places, new contexts, and learning about new perspectives on the world, and how that deepens their faith and their relationship is really, really important to me. And then for our freshmen, our newest guests, our freshman retreat takes place at the end of October. And I always see that as a way to build community, to have our older students, both boys and girls, share tradition and share how we care for each other as men and women with and for others at that retreat. And you also mentioned athletics. Fall season is underway. We have a freshman I want to give a shout out to, McKenna Groen, who as a freshman shattered our cross-country record as a freshman. That's incredible. And then we also have our soccer team, our boys soccer team. I think they're up to 44th in the country. They just won the Jesuit Cup, a tradition that's been going on for 30 years. Shout out to Coach Wolf and our soccer team. And then I'm really proud of our theater and performance. Last year, Dracula made ThesCon and final stage. This year, we're looking for our musical Anastasia to duplicate those efforts. I know our students are excited for that performance.
Amazing. Let's hear from David a little bit about some of our mission student-centered things that you can comment on. Inspire and Ignite 2025, the impacts of that, and other things that are on your mind right now.
Yeah, I do want to start with, before I get into Inspire and Ignite 2025, just so proud that we have been able to launch OCIT, which is the Order of Christian Initiation for Teens here at Regis Jesuit, and the 13 students who have stepped forward to really commit themselves to becoming a Catholic and joining the church. So a wonderful opportunity for our students. I'd love to see that program grow over time. As I really think about what's on my mind right now in terms of student opportunity, student impacts, I can't help but think about Inspire and Ignite 2025. This is a campaign for access, innovation, and excellence that we've been working on since 2019 or 2020. And you can't, this is the best part because we're getting to see those impacts play out. Here we are sitting in the home of RJ Media, something that we really wanted to grow and expand because we were really interested in creating more hands-on learning opportunities for our students, building on those, expanding them. We're in this wonderful building today. Can't forget about our science labs that, we have these incredible state-of-the-art science labs, and students are going to be taking their core classes, but also being able to pursue their passions. And then, of course, the Innovation Center, which we had students involved in some of these kinds of hands-on learning like robotics prior to having this building, but we've really seen this proliferate, and students are working in their classes. We're doing engineering, robotics, maker lab, rocket science, and advanced sculpture. And then the clubs, FIRST Robotics, rocketry, AI engineering, coding, STEM, maker club, esports, and drone and aviation club. I may not have covered all of them, but to see how our students are engaging with these opportunities, really engaging with their passions, committing to the design process, designing things, they fail, they iterate, is really just an extraordinary experience for our students. So we're really proud of that. That's been fun to see. Mr. Tricco just mentioned our immersion program. Students are doing immersions here locally in Denver, but also Kansas City, Memphis, Honduras, Peru, Panama, Tijuana, and really gaining a much stronger sense of the world in which we live, and really starting to think about how they can apply their gifts and talents to make our world a better place. So those are some great, and then I always like to throw this one in because it's smaller, but it's really important. We started Sources of Strength as an opportunity for our students to be peer leaders and really keeping an eye out for each other. And we know that one of the strengths that we have here at Regis Jesuit High School is our community. And that's just another testament to that, the way students are desiring to say, hey, yeah, I want to be somebody who's looking out for others. And when there is something that needs to be shared, they know exactly how to do that. So that's really great. This campaign that we've been working on, $42.5 million campaign. Proud to report that we are at $41 million. So we are right on track, but we still need the support of our community. Everyone has participated, faculty, staff, parents, alumni parents, alumni, even students. And we look forward to making it across the finish line before the end of this year.
That's great.
Yeah.
Thank you both. That's a lot of really great information about what's happening in and out of the classroom at Regis Jesuit. There's always something going on this campus. Now, let's shift our focus to the questions that were submitted by our parent and guardian community. Our first question has to do with our 1818 Advanced College Credit Program, which you referenced before, a partnership we have with St. Louis University. And the question is, can you tell us what the plans are to expand the 1818 Advanced College Credit Program? This appears to be a fantastic resource. It would be great if we could expand the offerings in math and science for the eligible courses that the students at RJ are already taking.
Yes, our plan is to expand the 1818 program. One of the drawbacks maybe, our teachers, while they have upper degrees, master's degrees, for 1818, the master's degrees can't just be in education. They have to be in the specific subject. So we have some teachers that are beginning master's programs to have a more specific background so they can offer 1818. The other part of it is in science, at the university level, they have the luxury luxury of having a standalone class and a standalone lab. And there's a lot of time that's needed for labs, especially in the sciences. So as we look at our schedule and maybe look to expand that in the future, we'd have to distinguish between the classroom science class and then the lab that's needed for those credits. Luckily for us, because of our 32 AP classes, that covers all of the math and science that most colleges will accept for college credit.
Great, that makes sense. Thank you for that information. What a cool program, though, and what a great opportunity for our students.
I'm excited for our kids.
The topic of safety is on the minds of our community, especially in light of recent events. A question that has been posed is whether our school admin has considered the idea of a perimeter fence or gated entrance of some kind or guarded access with maybe a card to come onto campus or a decal on the car or an authorized car entry to campus, things like that. Also, some of our kids walk home after school through the back of the property. Could there be blue lights or cameras on that part of campus? Would you speak a little bit about campus security?
Sure. So I think this is something that's always on our minds, and we've started this school year, sadly, with 2 or more school shootings. And so it's always present, and this is something that's been a heavy focus here at Regis Jesuit. Before I started as president, I'm in my 10th year. I always start with, I think that similar to what I just talked about in sources of strength, our number one asset here is our community and how we care for each other and look out for each other. But as you know, we do lots of things to keep our community safe. I think about just the fact that our doors are locked throughout the school day, yet kids have codes to be able to access any of the buildings. I think about our security team. I think our security guards, who do a great job, are most visible to our community, but the people who staff our doors, Ms. Kelly Latito, are constantly thinking about and helping us be prepared to respond to safety incidents.
Before we move on, I do want to make sure we addressed the question of perimeter security and the blue light emergency phone systems on campus.
Yeah, thank you for bringing me back to that question, Karen. I really want to thank parents who are through this process have told us what's on their minds. Thinking about a perimeter fence is something that has been in our planning and major projects committee. This is a subcommittee of the Board of Trustees. This is a big project. We're an 82-acre campus, and so really trying to identify, where fencing would make the biggest impact for what we see here on campus as part of that, and then just putting it into financial planning to make it happen. Blue lights are newer for us. The first one that we installed on campus was out on the southeast acreage when we built the tennis courts, and it's something that we could certainly add into our thinking and planning for future.
Thank you. We had multiple questions on this topic. Jimmy, I don't know if you want to add anything to that. Obviously, school safety and security is top of mind for a lot of our parents. Can you say a little bit more about what day-to-day security looks like and how we prepare in case something were to happen?
Yeah, I would like to piggyback off what David said about community. We begin and end with relationship at Regis Jesuit, getting to know our students. They are not numbers. We call them by their name. And in understanding their context, we've put a lot of resources into mental health. We have 2 full-time therapists. We make sure that our students are cared for, and we try to recognize anything if it's unusual or different about our students to make sure that we are in relationship with them and maybe can anticipate issues that might arise in our student body. And I'd also like to point out that our safety director, Kelly Latito, was named National Safety Director of the Year last year. And the way that she handles logistics and gets our community prepared, I can't say enough about our security team and the safety they provide our community.
Thank you both for that. That's a hard topic to think about and hard topic to talk about. I'm really proud of our school's approach to keeping our community safe, so thank you. Another topic we've received questions about is the school's financial position. Dave, could you speak to the school's financial position and outlook and some of the changes we made last spring?
Yeah, sure. So to begin, the state of Regis Jesuit High School financially is strong. And also, we are experiencing some changes to our enrollment pattern. Some that we have seen, and I don't know if it's so much of a change, but a reality. This year's senior class is about 50 students smaller than the one that we just graduated. And so sometimes that happens with classes along the way. And so we could see this one coming. But what we experienced last spring in our enrollment cycle, and then also in the re-enrollment of our sophomores, juniors, and seniors, is a higher than expected need for financial aid. And I think what's really important, this isn't new for Regis Jesuit. When we have student or families who run into hardship, we want to be there. We really want to avoid having a family leave Regis Jesuit because their financial circumstances have changed. And so we work really hard to do that. So last spring, we set ourselves to kind of reprioritize some things in our budget. Always number one for us, it starts with excellence in our classroom. So we prioritize every year in our budgeting the compensation of our people here, and particularly our faculty. And then the next thing is making sure our students have everything that they need. And so we went through the process last year of saying, we want to be able to support these families. And so where can we adjust our budgets? We did a lot of work, and we really, I would say, let me start here. Our goal was to really preserve everything that was student-facing, whether it's people or programs, and so that was a priority for us. Outside of that, we looked for areas of discretionary spending, and then we started looking at areas within our support staff. So we are a little bit smaller in our staffing this year. With regard to faculty, as Mr. Tricco mentioned earlier in the program, we're at the same class size. We might adjust our faculty number every year based on the actual students in the building, but usually we're able to do that based on the departure of one teacher, and we don't need to hire in this department right now. But I think the point that I really want to underscore is, here's how Regis Jesuit works. We are supported by the tuition that we receive from our families, and we are supported by philanthropy. Some of that philanthropy goes into our endowment, which is part of our Inspired Ignite campaign as well. When we started the campaign, our endowment was at $20 million. We met our goal this summer to get to $35 million, and that is supplying critical support to our operating budget. But in addition, we have every year a need to have annual gifts come in to support our operating budget. That makes it all work. And so this is what we call the RJ Fund here at Regis Jesuit. We're really excited to have RJ Giving Day this year on October 7th. It creates this opportunity. It's just one piece of the operating budget that it is really particularly important for us this year to make sure that we meet all of our goals there.
Great, thank you. Thanks again for your candidness and transparency on that. Another theme from our listeners concerns athletic facilities. Can you share a little bit about updates regarding both short-term and long-term plans to update any of our athletic facilities?
Sure, and I think it's really important to point out, both through the Inspire and Ignite 2025 campaign and in our just ongoing attention to our facilities and keeping them up to date. In the last 5 years alone, we've invested $11.5 million into athletics facilities here on campus. And so within the Inspire and Ignite campaign, we rebuilt our tennis courts. But during that time also, if folks remember, in 2020, we put a new building around our swimming pool. We enlarged its deck. We got new starting blocks and scoreboards. We've addressed our seating in Kellogg Stadium, replaced the surface and the track there, and also Lauber Field this spring. We've added new locker rooms for our girls, which was a desperate need for us here at Regis Jesuit. So those have been our focus areas right now. As we look forward, we still desire to add 2 more multi-sport athletic fields to Regis Jesuit's campus. This project is going to extend beyond the end of Inspire and Ignite 2025. And currently what we're doing is The land that the acreage sits on, where we would like to develop these fields, sits in Centennial. And the rest of the campus is in Aurora. And when we did the tennis court project, which is also on that same piece of land, we really understood that we'd like to try and be annexed completely into Aurora. It's very difficult to manage, particularly construction projects, and working with two municipalities at the same time. So right now we're working on annexation. We love Centennial, but the heart of our campus is in Aurora. The good news is both mayors and the city council of Centennial are very open to this, so it's a process, and we're working through that process. I hope that by the end of this calendar year, early into 2026, we complete that process, and then we'll be seeking to raise more funds to execute that project.
Great. I'm going to stay on this topic of athletic facilities just a little bit longer. Can you tell our audience how decisions are made about prioritizing campus upgrades, specifically with regard to fields, locker rooms, classrooms, to ensure equality between the boys and girls division facilities?
I think there are a couple of important processes to start with. One is through kind of our campus master planning and our strategic planning, right? So we'll identify areas in which we want to grow. Oftentimes those start with conversations here among our people on campus, whether it's our administrators or people in our athletic departments. But ultimately our strategic plans and our campus master plans are approved by the Board of Trustees. Simultaneously, we're always investing in facility enhancement. And so we do schedule things for when we think we're going to need to address or upgrade. And then sometimes life presents realities too that we have to do this now. So safety sometimes drives what we're doing, or just the functionality of facilities. And so there's always an adjusting period. We expect to invest on an annual basis hundreds of thousands of dollars into improvements into our physical plant in our campus, athletics, and everything else. And so those priorities are always, we have our ideas, and sometimes life says, nope, you're going to replace your chiller in the girls division this year, and that becomes a priority. But we really try to do that through a comprehensive evaluation of both what is most needed right now, what needs to be addressed, what strategically will help us grow our programs, and plan those out as best we can.
Great, thank you. Again, really awesome information. Thank you both so much for your very thorough answers. As we bring our conversation to a close, would you please give a few ideas about how parents and guardians can get involved in the wonderful work that's happening at Regis?
Yeah, we have the Raider Parent Association, the RPA, I think is a wonderful way to get involved in the community. We're always looking for volunteers at events, people to participate. Come to our events, come cheer on our students and whatever activities that they're doing. And if folks have questions, I hope they know that David and I are always available if they want to set up a meeting.
Yeah, I talk about the 4 Ps here. Participate, be involved, especially for those activities in which your kids are involved. And there's so many here, and I know that there's a lot going on campus, but be involved in the school. So that's number one. Promote. I mean, we're right now kicking off a new admission cycle. It is word of mouth that does the most for us in recruiting the next class of Raiders here, class of 2030. It's amazing how fast that goes. Pay it forward. We all have been able to benefit from this mission, this campus environment, because of the generosity of people who have come before us and sacrificed to make those kinds of opportunities available. And of course, pray. I swear the best Mass we offer on a regular basis is the First Friday Mass. 7:30 a.m. on the first Friday of the month, except when it's on the second Friday. Usually that's because we didn't have school on that Friday. All are welcome. We see students, faculty, staff, parents, grandparents, alums. It's outstanding. And I have to give a nod to Ms. Wuertz here, because she's often in the First Friday Mass Choir, and they are outstanding.
Thank you.
So.
Thank you. Well, thanks again to both of you for your presence and your insights today to help our listeners understand what's happening in our school community on a day-to-day basis. Jimmy, is there anything that you would like to add before we close?
Yes, I'd like to offer a message of gratitude to all of our parents, grandparents, guardians, and friends of the extended Regis Jesuit community. Thank you for sharing your students with us. It's an honor and a privilege. And on behalf of all of us here at RJ, thank you.
Thanks also to the students from RJ Media for supporting us in this project today. And thank you to everybody who submitted a question, and to all of you listeners out there joining us tonight. We're really grateful for your presence with us. And now, would you like to close our segment with a prayer?
You bet. So just invite ourselves to take a moment and reflect on all the blessings in our lives today. Good and gracious God, we thank you for the opportunity to be part of this community. We ask you to bless us in our activities, to support our students, to help them move closer to you. Please bless our parents, our students, the faculty and staff who shape and form these young people, that they may be men and women with and for others. We ask all of these things in your name through Christ our Lord. Amen. St. John Francis Regis, pray for us.
This has been Inside RJ. Have a good night.